Today's 67-kilometre second stage was just for cars, bikes and quads. With some very narrow mountain roads, it was just too tight for the trucks, who headed straight for the port of Malaga.
Hello!
After following compatriot Ruben Faria home yesterday, this morning it was the turn of Helder Rodriguez to shine. He was a full minute faster than his local rival and snatched the lead of the event, heading another Yamaha 1-2 for Portuguese riders on the stage and in the overall classification. And with the boat to Morocco waiting at the end of the day, he'll be feeling happy indeed. But how the lighter 450 machines will fare in Morocco remains to be seen. Winner of yesterday's stage, Ruben Faria, had a scare this morning, falling on his way to the start of the stage. He reached the start line just in time, bruised, but fortunately with nothing broken. You can't help thinking that his fall might just have tempered his aggression a touch, especially with some of the very long drops on the edges of today's roads. Nevertheless, he heads to Africa just 47 seconds off the lead, in second place on the Dakar. Yesterday's fall for Isidre Esteve had no lasting repercussions. The Spaniard didn't expect to be able to match the pace of the Portuguese riders, given their knowledge of the stages and their lighter, more nimble Yamahas, and he didn't. A minute 45 behind winner Rodriguez, Esteve was third quickest. He lies 6 minutes off the overall lead in third. The perfect position to start in Morocco, he reckons. A similarly problem-free run for his teammate, the Frenchman David Castor, saw him just behind his compatriot. Esteve's water carrier, performing his role perfectly, will line up behind his team leader as they hit African sands tomorrow. After finishing in a lowly 13th on the opening stage, Mark Komar ensured he'll be firmly in the top 10 starters on the first day of African racing, with a solid 5th place on stage 2. Komar, it seems, may have taken a little while to wake up, like the early morning sun. This is Fabien Planet's first Dakar. He only gained his entry on the very last day of the French Enduro Championship by winning the Dakar Enduro Challenge contest. 9th on yesterday's opening stage then looked like a great result, until he stopped the clock's 6th fastest today. The 24-year-old from Saint-Etienne has got one ambition: to reach Dakar. But tomorrow he'll line up for his first African stage in 5th. 29th on stage 1, Brazil's Janda Azevedo clearly put his nerves behind him this morning, charging into 7th on the special and moving up 12 places in the general classification to 17th. After finishing day 1 in 12th, Frenchman David Fretinier upped the pace on the second stage. His 8th place finish moves him up 3 spots as well to 9th in the overall standings. Another slow-starting KTM rider was Giovanni Sala. The Italian was 20th, nearly 11 minutes off the pace on stage 1, and today he lost more time. He lies 15th in the general standings, a quarter of an hour adrift. With parts of today's stage looking like something out of the Tour de Corse, 35-year-old Ajaccio restaurateur Michel Marchini must have felt right at home. Embarking on his 4th Dakar, the Corsican rider posted his first top 10 stage time this morning. He survived the hazards of the water, but many found a wet struggle in the cold morning hours. Thierry Batiste is a self-confessed beach boy. No surprise then to see him taking it a little easier on the gravel of today's stages. But with 5th yesterday and 12th today, he stands in 6th position in the overall classification. American rider Jonas Street was 6th quickest yesterday, but today's stage clearly didn't suit him quite as well. He was almost 5 minutes behind the Portuguese leaders, but he'll have a great starting position for tomorrow's first African stage, 7th. Norwegian Paul Anders Ulversæter lost around 5 seconds a kilometre to the leaders on today's short test. His overall deficit of just over 11 minutes could easily be accrued in just one sand bowl in the desert, so all's not lost. After losing a lot of time on stage 1 running low of fuel, Cyril Desprez had more misfortune this morning, falling as he avoided a spectator who jumped out into the track with a camera. He broke his rear brake, holed his fuel tank and damaged his gearbox and throttle. Maybe it was the tough timing, maybe he woke up on the right frame of mind this morning, but one way or another, it was a great stage for Jose Manuel Gonzalez. Confirmation of the Portuguese 1-2 in reverse order of yesterday's stage, with Isidre Esteve, the top front runner, in a strong 3rd place. And the overall sees Esteve chasing the 2 Portuguese as they head into the desert. Had a good ride this morning, says stage winner Helder Rodriguez. I didn't take any risks compared to yesterday. Certainly I didn't have to pass any riders, so I managed to get through the stage without any problems. It was pretty slippery and with a lot of ravines. Quite good fun, he says. The signs in the stage were very well done as well, allowing you to understand whether the corners were tight or not. And on these kind of stages, those indicators are very important. I put my trust in them and got to the finish with the best time. Very happy about that.
Aqui numa etapa destas é o mais importante, e eu confiei na marcação e nunca me saí mal e cheguei ao final, pronto, com uma vitória do dia 2, que para mim estou feliz.
Special stage wasn't what I expected, says Ruben Faria. I started well, but I fell, and afterwards I had to ride very carefully because the surface was very slippery. Anyway, he says the Dakar finishes at the Lac Rose, and a good position at the Lac Rose is my goal. Somebody came very close to me on the stage. I was quite shocked. I braked a bit and the front of the bike just locked up and slid on ice, and I went down, says Cyril Desprez. So the bike's damaged a bit, and now I'm happy just to have reached the finish line without losing too much time, because the brakes and the gears weren't working properly at all. Nice ride on a Sunday morning, he says.